Welcome back to another NASCAR Mailbox. In this edition, we have a lot of spicy things to talk about. Let's jump right in from this special question coming from our own Michael Massie.
Hey Jared, big house, Michael Massie here. So my question for you is, this past week in Richmond, we saw Denny Hamlin wreck JJ Yeley. And I caught up with Yeley afterwards, and he was not too happy with Hamlin. He basically called him a hypocrite for talking the talk about cleaning up the racing and all that, but not really walking the walk. So my question for you, Hamlin apologized on his podcast, Actions Detrimental. Was his apology sufficient enough?
With Denny Hamlin and the JJ Yeley incident, I understand JJ Yeley's frustration. This is early in the race. Hamlin is obviously going to get by him to pass. And Hamlin on his podcast said that Yeley lifted a little bit more, about what he said, about 100 feet before turn one, going into the corner. Hamlin didn't expect that. Hamlin seemed pretty sincere in his podcast about what happened with the JJ Yeley incident. And understandably, JJ Yeley is going to be upset. You even heard it in the interview with Michael Massie that he did there, where Hamlin's being a bit of a hypocrite on that standpoint. But in order to make this correct, actions speak louder than words. And Hamlin's got to follow through. I mean, he's always going to check in the team, see with the team what he can do with JJ Yeley. Back in the good old days, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you'd buy a set of tires for the guy. You know, if you feel bad for him, look at Morgan Shepherd, for example. Quite a bit of stories about people buying tires for him. So I think if Hamlin's going to make this apology up and be the mouthpiece, he's also got to bring the action forward of him being apologetic. Because understandably, even though he sounded sincere, pretty sincere, it's a bad look to kind of take that incident where early in the race, you're wrecking a car that you're not going to really battle for a position for the win. So Hamlin needs to step up, say, hey, I communicated with JJ Yeley. We're all good on this front. JJ Yeley's happy. We mended it up. I may have bought tires. I don't know how this apology is going to go, but I think the important part is mending those fences and saying, hey, even though I preach, like I said, I practice what I preach. Hamlin is put in a very interesting situation with his Actions Detrimental, showing the true side of a NASCAR driver, but it all comes down to actions, what he does on and off the track. Now we go into some of the more of the news and comment that beautiful Angel Blossom commented that says, HMS is cheating, that all there is to, and not a good look for the sport. Whew. They got lightly penalized compared to Justin Haley. Justin Haley had his appeal heard today about the louvers penalty. Kind of the same penalty that happened to Hendrick Motorsports, but the big difference is Kaulig Racing's louvers was found to be during pre-qualifying inspection, while Hendrick Motorsports was found before practice was set. And the appeal process, which was held up with former TV executive Hunter Nickel, former driver Shauna Robinson, and Magic Valley Speedway promoter Steve York. Those are the three people that only deduced from 75 to 100 points on the penalty. Understandably, this is a different panel than Hendrick Motorsports, and Hendrick Motorsports must have made a much convincing more argument to not have any points taken off, and Justin Haley, that's more than a race points that you can gain still off the table for Haley. Only 25 points. That puts him at 26 points. And now Hendrick Motorsports, they have 3 drivers in the top 6. It shows the inconsistency of the appeals process. Basically the same penalty. The only difference is the time that they got caught with the penalty. I mean, that shows that's where the bounds are. You know, that shows the black and white, and NASCAR tried to be consistent with the penalty. They have been consistent with, if you're altering a manufactured part, you're going to get penalized. You had Keselowski, and you had, I believe, Michael McDowell as well, that were penalized 100 points. Peels didn't get here, didn't give them back their points or their money, but now it seems like the door has opened up for as the athletic reporter by Jordan Bianchi with the interviews, one of the people said it's lawlessness, and rightfully so. If you can get it, if you try to get through a car through tech before practice and you try to, smudge some numbers, try to mess with the part and you don't get caught, maybe not just throw in pre-race qualifying, try and see what you can do with that part. It opens up that gray area, and a lot of fans not like that. NASCAR has been working hard to make this black and white area, and this appeal process is basically graded up. So there is a difference. Cheating is knowing what's happening. I mean, there's pushing the edges and cheating, but it's hard to believe that Justin Haley's only got 25 points back, while Hendrick Motorsports drivers got all of their points back. So, not a good look with the appeal process, and not a lot is known about this appeal process, where it almost needs to be an open door policy of what's going on there, because in the end of the day, we don't know what was said. And it's just basically between the team and the appeal board, which is those three people, and that's what's said. So you can't really compare notes. And it's just overall not a really good look having one team penalized a lot of points and one team not penalize points at all. And that is it for NASCAR Mailbox. Join me next week after the dust settles at Bristol Dirt. Make sure to submit your questions Monday morning, so they might be in the next NASCAR Mailbox. From then, as always, have a great race weekend, and sure to subscribe, because what happens on Frontstretch is the best view of the track, best view of the web. If you're not subscribed, you're missing out. Thank you.
This is Parker Chase. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other videos over here on the right, and be sure to visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.